This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
All right, my friends, that voice, my dear old friend, John Mac McGrath. I miss him. A good man. He founded the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. And again, I miss him. He passed earlier this year. This is the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. And it's Saturday. It's September the 20th. We're down to the final few games of the regular season. Only about a week to go. And then it's playoff time. But before we get to any of that, let's make today a great day. How can you make your day great? Well, it's simple. It really is. Look around you. Find the good that exists and cherish it. Appreciate it. If you look around and you see goodness that's part of your life, and I dare say for everyone, there are aspects of goodness every single day, even in the worst possible times. There are aspects of goodness if you can find them. And then appreciate them and say, my goodness, how lucky am I? How fortunate am I? And when you do that, when you appreciate the good that is around you, you can't help but appreciating brings happiness. So you can't help but have a great day. And if by some chance there is no goodness, you can't find any, there's nothing at all good in your life, well then do good. Do something nice. Don't look this way, look that way. Find something you can do for someone else. And then guess what? You just created goodness. And then you can appreciate that. Because when we give love, it multiplies. When good things happen to people, they then do other good things. That's just how it works. Does that happen every time? No, of course not. Does it happen most of the time? I believe it does. When we give love, it also comes back to us in greater amounts than we ever gave. So on the show today, my dear friends, I have a big reveal. Something great and something very exciting. But not yet. This program is brought to you by Artemisia Publishing. The great Artemisia publishers are located in New Mexico. They are 100% traditional publishing. They are a traditional publisher. Anyone who's ever thought about getting into publishing, there are vanity presses, there's self-publishing, there's big presses, and then there are independent presses. And there are independent presses that do it the right way. They are legitimate. They are traditional. They do it the exact same way that the big presses do. And in fact, if you listen to authors, many times they will say the independent presses do it better than the big presses. Well, Artemisia does it as well or better than everybody. Go to apbooks.net. Look at their vast and ever-growing collection of outstanding books. Many, most, in fact, I would assume, award winners. Those books, all published by Artemisia, can be part of your own reading collection. Those books, of course, include my wonderful novel, Scattering the Ashes, award winner. The award-winning The Least Among Them. The award-winning From Compton to the Bronx. And I'm not sure if 365.2 Going the Distance won an award, but I can tell you that is a great book. So go to artemisiapublishing.net. And I have a big reveal, but not quite yet. The Yankees are about to make it to the playoffs, and that's a good thing. Now, they haven't clinched, but they're going to make it. It's not even a question that they're going to make it. The only question really is, where are they going to be seated in the playoffs? I think the Yankees still have an opportunity to win the American League East. If not, they could easily capture the first wild card. And if not, they're going to be the second wild card. And I'm usually the pessimistic Yankee guy, optimistic in life, look for the good, celebrate the good, share love, be kind. But when it comes to the Yankees, I'm usually the pessimistic guy. He stinks. This guy's not doing it. Aaron Boone's just doing a horrible job. Brian Cashman hasn't been a great general manager in a decade. On and on, right? We've all heard the discussions. We've all read them on Start Spreading the News. And by the way, if you want to see the greatest Yankee coverage anywhere, you go to Start Spreading the News, my Yankee site. Nobody does it better than us. And we are the best. We're proud of being the best. We put out multiple articles every single day. We've been doing it that way every single day since 2017. But we've had these discussions. This is wrong. That's wrong. I'm delusionally, I don't think so, but I'm delusionally optimistic about the Yankees' chances. I don't care, believe it or not, where they finish. Of course, if the Yankees somehow don't make the playoffs, they're playing all the bad teams here to finish the year. We've been through this 100 times. They're playing bad teams that are going to win these games. The Yankees are going to win most of the games, which is going to make it impossible for anybody else to catch them. If somehow the Yankees aren't in the playoffs, we have bigger problems. But somehow I'm not even all that concerned about where the Yankees finish. You know, the talking point before September was, well, if the Yankees have to play a 3-game series in Fenway Park, they can't possibly win 2 of those 3 games. It's impossible. The Yankees can't beat the Red Sox. They especially can't beat the Red Sox in Fenway Park. Except a week or so ago, the Yankees beat the Red Sox in a series in Fenway Park. Right, but the Yankees have to have the home field advantage if they play the Blue Jays in one of those rounds, because the Yankees can't beat the Blue Jays. Especially the Yankees can't beat the Blue Jays in Toronto. It would be impossible for the Yankees to beat the Blue Jays. Actually, I think that Blue Jay series was home. I'm getting ahead of myself. But the Yankees, anyway, can't beat the Blue Jays whether they're home or away. I'll fix my flub. By the way, when you make mistakes, admit them. Sometimes we make mistakes. None of us are perfect. And I don't edit this show. This show is the only time I ever edit the show is when I start over because there was a technical difficulty or somehow I stumbled upon words and I became incoherent in the first couple of seconds. But once we get a couple of minutes in, by and large, except that there's a disaster, I just go with it. So, yeah, sometimes you make a mistake. I can't remember as we talk if the Yankees played that series against the Blue Jays at home or on the road. But the bigger point remains. Yankees can't beat the Blue Jays, except the Yankees beat the Blue Jays. And here's why I'm not concerned. The Yankees have the talent to win any series. I know some people disagree with that, but the Yankees have the talent to win any series. And it's not just talent where you're saying like Trent Grisham's hit over 30 home runs and Cody Bellinger might make it to 100 RBIs and Aaron Judge is and should be. And if he's not, it's wrong. The MVP, again, and they have hitters like Ben Rice and, Jazz Chisholm and quality defense at third base now and Ryan McMahon. All that's true. Yes. And maybe Giancarlo Stanton gets hot again like he sometimes does for the playoffs and carries the team in addition to all those other guys. Yeah, they have the talent. Of course they do. But I'm not just talking about that talent. The Yankees, for the first time in forever, I don't know when the last time I would say this, probably those great dynasty teams when you have Wells and El Duque and David Cohn and Roger Clemens and Andy Pettit. You say like, That's a deep pitching staff. That's a deep collection of starters. And I understand Wells and Clemens weren't on the same team at the same time, but you get the idea. Mike Messina, though, the Yankees never won a World Series with him, but they had lots and lots of good pitching. And when they were winning World Series, they had all those great starters. I don't see the Yankees having a great collection of starters, but in a short series, you really only need two. And the Yankees have two. Before we get to this, because I'm going to read you some statistics that are going to make you go, wow. Don't forget, I have a big reveal coming, a book cover. Oh, now we're getting a little closer to what it's all about, but not yet. I want to give you the stats that are going to knock your socks off. But before I get to them, Luis Heel, Will Warren, Cam Schlittler, somewhere among those three, the Yankees are going to find somebody who can pitch and get them 5 or 6 or 7 innings. Maybe they use them in tandem in that third game, and then maybe that fifth game in another series or whatever. But for the most part, if it's a 7-game series, you should have your top 2 pitchers pitching twice. There's your 4 wins. If it's a 3-game series, they're each going to pitch once. There's your 2 wins. So the Yankees have the top of the rotation, 1 and 2, that should get it done. And I know some people are saying, no, they don't. They're not that good. Yeah, they are. You're wrong. The Yankees have the pitching. All right, you want me to prove it? I will prove it, because that's what I'm here to do. American League pitching leaders. WAR. What pitchers are in the top 10 in WAR? Well, let's see. There's a guy on Detroit, a guy on Houston, a guy on Boston, a guy on Baltimore, a guy on Minnesota, a guy on Tampa Bay, a guy on Toronto, a guy on New York, a guy on Texas, and another guy on New York. Wait a minute. What's the only team that has 2 guys in the top 10 in WAR in the American League this year for pitching? The Yankees. Number 8, Carlos Rodon. Number 10, Max Fried. Oh, WAR, that's dumb. I don't believe in WAR. That's a made-up statistic. It's ridiculous. Okay. You don't believe in WAR? That's fine. Let's go to earned run average. Who's 4th in the American League in earned run average? Max Fried. Who's 8th in the American League in earned run average? Carlos Rodon. Oh, that doesn't matter. All right. Who's 1st in the American League in wins? Max Fried. Who's tied for 2nd? Carlos Rodon. Now you could say Garrett Crochet's right there. He's 3rd in ERA. He's 3rd in WAR. He's tied with Rodon, tied with Rodon for wins in 2nd place. Sure, Red Sox have a good pitcher. The Red Sox have a good pitcher. The Yankees have 2. If Crochet wins 1, and then I guess it would be Rodon wins game 2, because I guess it'll be Crochet against Fried. But if Crochet wins, you're going to win game 2 with Rodon, and then it's just a matter of winning game 3. I think the Yankees have a great chance if they have to play the Red Sox. They have 2 good pitchers. Oh, what about win-loss percentage? Number 1, Max Fried. Number 8, Carlos Rodon. Oh, yeah, but what about WHIP, walks and hits per inning? Do the Yankees really have 2 great pitchers who are going to have the fewest guys on the base paths? Oh, in fact, they will. Who's number 8 in the American League in WHIP? Carlos Rodon. Who's number 10? Max Fried. That's why I am not concerned. The Yankees have the starting pitching. And again, I don't think they've really had 2 top pitchers like this in a very, very, very long time. Probably not since the championship era. Maybe 2009, you had CeCe at his peak. You had AJ Burnett pitching really well. Maybe 2 really good pitchers. Maybe. But the Yankees have 2 guys in the top 10 in the American League in all those categories. That has to say, Yeah, we're pretty good. And I don't think any other teams have the offense and the depth that the Yankees do. Now, the Yankees have a manager who's been continually outmanaged in big games his whole entire career. I've talked about this before. I've written about this many times the last couple of weeks. I don't understand how Aaron Boone keeps it all together. I don't get it. I don't think he's a great strategist. I don't think he's a great X's and O's guys, which is basically the same thing. I don't think he's really a great motivator. I don't think you don't see him really interacting with the players all that much. The Yankees seem to be very poor fundamentally. The Yankee young players don't seem to progress and grow. And I mean, we can list all the concerns about Aaron Boone as a manager. There's plenty. But when we do that, we're forgetting one thing. We're forgetting something that's big, something really big. Somehow he keeps this team together. Every year, the Yankees go through this period. Some people call it the Boone swoon or whatever, but they go through this period where they can't win a game. Now, again, this is a little hyperbolic, a little hyperbole here, a little over exaggeration. But listen, we lived through it. It happens every year. It's like they start June or late May, and then they lose every single game. And then they lose every single game in June. And then they lose every single game in July. And then they lose every single game for half or 2/3 of August. And then all of a sudden, click, then they start winning and they win all the time. I think they're 34-11, or 24-11 out of their last 35 heading into tonight. Now, again, I record this on Friday night. It's 2-0 Orioles in the bottom of the second inning. That does not seem like an insurmountable lead by any chance. Right. So, but again, even good teams lose games. The Yankees aren't going to lose the series to the Baltimore Orioles. I'd be very surprised if they did, and they shouldn't. The Orioles are playing out the string and the Yankees are playing for a playoff spot. So, not concerned about that at all. Seems to me that the Yankees should be the favorites in virtually every postseason series. We might be witnessing the Yankees coming back and maybe finally, after I think it's been like 400 years, winning a World Series again. And again, some of that credit somehow has to go to Aaron Boone, who somehow if he's a captain of a ship, he sails that ship into the most dangerous waters. There's icebergs. There's a giant coral that's scraping the bottom of the ship and putting holes in it. There's wind. There's rain. There's typhoons. There's monsoons. There's earthquakes. There's everything. Whatever can happen. Tidal waves, giant sharks, giant whales. And somehow, Aaron Boone steers the ship into those most treacherous waters, the most dangerous waters you can imagine. Somehow, he gets them through it. The ship remaining afloat. The ship with nary a scratch on it. And then they don't lose. Again, I'm over-exaggerating, but then they don't lose for the rest of the year. Now, when they get to the playoffs, that's something totally different. But somehow Aaron Boone keeps it all together. And we've all seen enough baseball. We've all watched enough baseball. We've all enjoyed enough baseball. Usually when there's teams that lose primarily for weeks and months on end, those teams have dissension and infighting and arguing and problems with players and problems with playing time and people talking to the media and people complaining. An anonymous source says, whether they say it or not, right? And yet somehow with the Yankees, year in and year out under Aaron Boone, even though he steers them into these dangerous, treacherous, horrible, horrific waters, somehow, some way, they come out of it and then they win. And he deserves credit for keeping that team together. Whatever he does, whatever he's doing in that locker room and that dugout, And when they're not on the field and not even at the stadiums, whatever he's doing, and I'm one of his biggest critics, but you have to be honest. You have to give credit where credit is due. He's doing something right. I don't know what it is. I can't see it. It's certainly not blowing bubbles in the dugout. It's certainly not yelling at umpires, I don't think. That kind of act is tired. I'm sick and tired of it. But Aaron Boone deserves credit for keeping his team together. And I dare say, oh my goodness, I dare say that keeping the team together, keeping them on an even keel, finding the bridge over the troubled waters, in some ways, just might be more important to a team over the long haul, over the many years when you're the manager, than almost anything else. And again, I'm not the type that wants to give Aaron Boone a lot of credit, but he's doing something right. And I just was on a podcast, the Pod of Fame. It was great. It was so enjoyable. And we were arguing or debating or discussing. I think we definitely didn't argue, but we argued. That's the word you use when each side is making their point. Debate might be a different word, a more polite word. It was a great discussion. I had so much fun. And that episode, I think it drops on September 29th, and I'll get the link and we'll put it on Start Spreading the News. But in that debate, I was discussing why Greg Nettles belongs in the Hall of Fame. And there were points that were made as part of the debate that are problematic to Greg Nettles' chances. And you have to be intellectually honest when you have a debate. You can't just say, no, no, I don't buy it. I'm not going to go there. You're wrong, even when they're right. When somebody's right, they're right. When somebody deserves credit for doing the right thing, you need to give them credit for doing the right thing. And Aaron Boone deserves a lot of that credit. All right. You can't wait anymore. You're just beside yourself with anticipation, hope, excitement. I'm going to make a black screen here. Let's see. Can we get a black screen? I might have to. I don't know if I can make that work. I wanted to put a background that was dark because my image is a small one and it's only going to be the middle of the page. But I can't. The only way I can get a black screen is if I go off the screen. I don't want to do that. I guess we just have to do it this way. Here it is, the big reveal. It's just going to cover me, but that's okay. This is much better looking than I am anyway. And there it is, my friends, my new book, coming in February 2026 by Artemisia Publishing. The book is called The Greatest New York Yankees of All Time by me, Paul Russell Semendinger. That book, well, again, it's coming out in February. We just finished the cover. The editing process is going very well. It will be completely updated through the 2025 season. As soon as the season and the playoffs for the Yankees are over, I will put the finishing touches. The book was written last spring, but we decided to hold it off until the beginning of spring training. And so when everybody's excited about baseball coming back, when everybody's super pumped, my book is going to hit the shelves. And it's going to go through, believe it or not, every single uniform number in the history of the Yankees. And in every single essay, it's going to discuss the greatest Yankee and the greatest Yankees to wear that uniform number. And then my job in that, and what I do with each uniform number, is I say who the greatest player at that uniform number was. It is an engaging book. It's fun. There's special charts that I made that have other things to do. We talk about the Yankees who didn't wear numbers. There's so many other numbers and number things that are there. But it's fun because it breaks down and it brings you back into the past, and you're comparing different eras and different players and what did they do. And it's who was the best while wearing that number. So you could say Mickey Mantle was the best at 7. No one's going to argue that. He came up wearing number 6. But in order to be the best at number 6, he would have had to have been the best while wearing number 6. And quite frankly, he wasn't. He didn't play long enough in uniform number 6 to accumulate a great career in uniform number 6. His great career was accumulated in uniform number 7. So Mickey Mantle's not the greatest Yankee to be of all who wore number 6. The greatest Yankee while wearing number 6 is somebody else. I can't tell you who it was. Not yet, but that'll be in the book. And it counts down backwards. It starts with 99. That's probably pretty apparent who 99 is. And then it'll go down through every single number, 98, 97, 96, all the way down to number 1 and then 0, because the Yankees have had a few players wearing 0 in recent years. Who's the greatest 0 Yankee? That book, hitting the shelves, published by Artemisia Publishing. That book will hit the shelves in December. Again, you can find Artemisia at apbooks.net. You can find my content and the content of all of our fantastic writers at startspreadingthenews.blog. But this, of course, is the Dr. Sem Show. The playoffs are coming soon. A couple other big announcements coming regarding this show and the Start Spreading the News show, but we'll save some of those for a future episode. And it's all good stuff, primarily. Just some little programming notes and things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, give love, give kindness, give empathy, give understanding. Be nice. Respect others. Respect those who disagree with you. It's okay to have a discussion. It's okay to have different viewpoints. In fact, imagine if we all had the same viewpoint. I hope you all agree with me always, but imagine how boring that would be if you did. Give love. It'll come back to you in greater amounts than you ever gave. Make today, make all of your days great. Have yourselves a great weekend. I'll be back on Monday night at 9 p.m. with the great EJ Fagan for the Start Spreading the News podcast. Until then, enjoy.